Rave culture.
What's poppin', everybody? It's your boy RB here, and yes, sir, we back at it like we never left. I don't know, man. It's kind of crazy. Last recording, I don't know, Z. When was it? Was it like April, right? It was like early April. But we back, and you know how it is. I'm back here, and I got the guest. So, what's poppin' now with the guest, right? Today I have a man of many talents, someone who told me that he does as much as he's allowed in this industry. This guy started his career basically being tINI store manager and her chief of events for her renowned party, tINI and the Gang. Later on, he went on creating Zero Logistics, a booking agency with a roster of 20 DJs, and is someone who's definitely seen most of everything in this industry. Ladies and gentlemen, and ravers and non-ravers around the world, today we have Roberto Blach. Nice to have you, man.
Welcome for having me, my man.
How are you?
All good, my man.
All right, so why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, my name is Roberto, as you just have presented me here. And yeah, I used to work for tINI and the Gang as a tour manager like 10 years ago. And I also just found being event manager for her. So it was pretty cool for 5-6 years. Then afterwards, I started working for Circo Loco. I created my own booking agency. And now we are here after COVID, trying to pick it up again.
Shit, you know, it's like when they said like 21st of June, it was like, like there's a little bit of hope because like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, they're doing this with a plan. It's going to be like 3 months. And then Boris goes like, yeah, motherfuckers, we're going to be like 4 more weeks. Like, obviously I'm not in this industry yet, but like from someone in the industry, like what's the feeling from the people like with like the lockdown extending and extending and extending?
Well, I would say the clearest example for me is like when you put a candy on top of the mouth of a baby and then you remove it. It is really hard to swallow it because you, especially us, we've been waiting for so long.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, in my case, for example, I had like 3 events that they should be happening from today onwards.
Yeah.
I had like 3 events at Star Lane, in Star Lane actually. And we were supposed to have the first day, Monday today, Tuesday tomorrow, Wednesday. And of course, because of this extended lockdown, we just been forced to cancel.
And I mean, I don't know, like cancel it. I really don't think that like people understand as well. Like, you know, it's not like there's not going to be shows afterwards, right? Like the shows you got canceled, even like, I'm going to put it this way. It was going to start on the 21st, right? Today onwards. And now it's going to start on the 19th, supposedly. Mm-hmm. Now, 19 onwards, there's already a lot of DJs booked to play. Now, how do you fit that, if you know what I mean? Like, there's so many like gigs that need to be rescheduled and that kind of stuff.
Okay, for me, I decided to cancel because I don't know yet if I'm going to stay in London. I think I'm going to move back to Ibiza as clubs clubs seems to be open by the middle of July. So I wouldn't have the time to reschedule there because I will have to do this after this lockdown, what means I'll be in Ibiza. So it's a lot of effort that we have been doing trying to just make these events happen. But in the end of the day, it's a kind of waste of time. But still, you know, like I'm never going to give up. You know, I'll keep doing my events as soon as I'm back in here, and I will probably reprogram good events for the 2022. But so far, we just need to just go through it, and we just need to get used to it.
Yeah, and I think most of us like already got used to this. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, not partying. I mean, I've been in Miami when Ricardo played. Obviously, wasn't allowed to go. It was lit. Like videos from the party, just sick. But yeah, like I think I just like got used to like that. This is the new normal. Like I don't know how I'm gonna feel when when parties. I don't know if it's gonna feel real when parties come back. If you know what I mean, like that feeling, like there's so much energy contained.
I mean,
like
I get your point. I'm not ready for that day yet, because I know I'm just going to. I've been waiting for so long. Like it's been more than 1 year and a half that we can dance legally, and I think this should have been checked before. Like we shouldn't be paying all these repercussions, as everyone is still able to do their jobs. We are one of the only small, people in this world that we cannot make our jobs again. Like we cannot make that happen, and it's But yeah, you know, like we need to respect the rules. Of course, we are under this pandemic moment, and the day that will come, I know.
We will dance again. It will be hella crazy. Like, that's what's up. Boris, thank you for the travel regulations. Sunwaves would have been amazing. um, anyways, I just want to clear out. It's crazy doing this shit in English because you know you're from Spain. I'm from Peru, so Spanish is. But hey, people, we do this for you. You know what I'm saying? So hope you like this shit. Subscribe and don't forget it's about the culture. Now, moving forward. How do you get in this industry? Because I think it's a really nice story because you get in with tINI, right, as a tour manager. But like, how is it that Roberto Blach actually gets into dance music?
Well, I have to say that my first experience was in 2004, and it was in Madrid in a club called Macumba. And I had a good friend of mine that he was crazy with electronic music. And I was like, we really need to go. We really need to go. So we went to see Lauren Garnier back then. Literally, it blew up my mind. It was the best night ever. And I think since that day, I knew I wasn't going to leave this electronic music. Then, of course, you know, I was just always surrounded by parties. I used to work as a PR in Madrid, and I moved into UK in 2008. And I remember 3 years later, in 2010, a friend of mine, his name is Kimbo. He was like, "Oh, we should go to this festival." I said, "Which festival?" "Sunwaves." "Where is it?" "Romania." "You're crazy. You want me to go to Romania?" Like I never been in Romania before. You know?
But it's a crazy festival.
It's insane. Once you're there, you always want to come back, you know. And of course, we went to this party. It was called the Solatissimus, I think, from Dice, and of course he was inviting all the guys that they used to be with him, like tINI, Guti, Martin Butrich, Livia and Rave. So it was a big crew out there.
Yeah, it's like a big fucking crew.
It was a big crew, yeah. And of course, I was an ignorant back then, and I didn't know that DJs, they were traveling with tour managers. And of course, there was this guy that I used to see, because I used to, of course, go into a lot of festivals, not only Romania, but I used to go to Time War in Amsterdam or in Rotterdam. I don't remember where it was. Time War in Germany. So I was really into this festival mood. And of course, I found this guy on the middle of the dance floor. I remember I was really drunk, let's say. And of course, I went to him straight. I didn't even think about it for a moment. I was like, "Excuse me, sir, do you mind if I ask you, what do you do?" And I remember his face was like, "Who you are?" I said, "I'm no one here, but I'm just really happy that you are taking the best benefit of being in a party all the time, doing what you like." And I was wondering, "What do you do?" And he looked at me again and was like, "You know what? I think you need to know what I'm doing." So he basically put me on in the DJ booth, and from the dance floor to the DJ booth, I was like, "Okay, I don't know where I am." And all in a sudden, I just remember being dancing on the backstage, and Dice just turned around and he was like, "Take this bottle of tequila." I was like, "All right." So I took that shot of tequila, but I felt so nervous that I had to leave the DJ booth. I was like, "Okay, this is already enough." So I went back to the dance floor, and this is where I found tINI, Guti, and all these guys.
But hold on, that was Dice, the one that gave you the bottle of tequila. So like your first interaction in a backstage.
Could you imagine,
like it's like, you know, local Dice goes like, "Hey, what up, dog? Take a shot of tequila."
And I was like, "All right, this is a dream come true," because you know, I was never able to be in a DJ booth, so it was my first time, my first experience in a DJ booth. I was being offered a shot from one of these big artists. Was like, all right, but of course, you know, I went back to the dance floor, and of course, I was catching up again with this guy who just brought me on the DJ booth, and he introduced me with tINI, Guti, all the crew. And see, that day, I think like. Everything happened for a reason. This is something I'm always thinking. And since that day, tINI and I we become friends. And she was just flying over to London to play for Fuse back then on 93 Feet. And of course, he was playing somewhere else. I used to go to Madrid to see my family and to see her when she was playing in Fabric there. And you know, like it was really nice because it was nothing forced. It was something who grew up naturally. You know, like she was my friend. And there was a time in 2013 that it was funny because she's a mess sometimes with the messages. So I used to message, "Hey, I'm going to be in Ibiza, blah, blah, blah. Let me know if you want me to help you with something with your party." And of course, she never answered because she was busy. Yeah. And it was my birthday on the 24th of May in 2013, and she called me, "Hey baby, how are you? Are you in London this weekend?" And I'm like, "Oh, no, I'm not. I told you that I'm going to Ibiza." She was like, "What you gonna do there?" I said, "Well, I text you, and I said that if you need any help, I'd be happy to help you because I don't have a job."
Yeah.
She was like, "What do you mean?" I said, "You're gonna work for me." I said, "Okay, let me know what I can do for you." And of course, from that point, I was expecting like a promotion team, something, or helping her with the basics, you know. And she went right away. She was straight to the point and was like, "No, I want you to be my event manager." I was like, "Hold on a second, listen. I don't have any experience because I never worked in the music industry before." And she was like, "I don't need it. I know you're gonna do well." So this was the beginning, and I'm not gonna lie, it was the best time of my life. And I just wanted to mention here, I'm here because of her. So I really want to appreciate that to her. She's my angel, let's say.
tINI, he loves you.
I love you, you know that.
We love you. Everybody loves you. I mean, Peru loves you as well, honestly.
Yeah, big time.
Thank you.
And that was where everything started in 2013 at Sirocco Beach in Ibiza, a free spirit party. No one had to pay. People were welcome for just for music, you know, something that I think I've disappeared since then.
Really?
Yeah, Ibiza has never been the same anyway. Like there is no free parties anymore. Like it's really difficult to deal with the government against these kind of things. You know, there's a lot of pressure from the clubs as well. Mm-hmm. But anyway, we're still happy. So yeah.
And I think it's still an industry that where you go, it's not about like who has more or who's wearing what, and that it's like you just go and you dance, if you know what I'm saying.
Exactly
and
that.
Like you can go however the fuck you want, whomever the fuck you are, and everybody gonna dance, and that's what's up.
But this was where all the tINI and the gang was all about. Like you come here, you experience. If you like it, you are more than welcome to stay. If you don't like it, of course you can go and try somewhere else where you would like to find the fun, let's say, you know. Mm-hmm. But yeah, 2013, 2014 was the best years that I can remember working and I mean, I enjoyed all my time, you know, but these years were gold.
I mean, it was like your baby years in the industry at the same time. So you know, it's like a period that you're digesting everything. Like you're doing like all of a sudden, like, you know, like you're events manager for tINI and the fucking gang, like straight up. But like you're getting all this experience whilst you're doing it, right? And obviously, like, you know, you're happy, like you're learning, you have a job, you know, like you're touring with one of like, arguably one of the biggest acts, like in our own style. And so you were the tour manager and head of events, basically, like events manager for her.
Yeah, I started like an event manager, and then I think it was 6 or 8 months later, she offered me to be a tour manager. So it was pretty easy, actually. At the end of the day, you have your event manager and your tour manager just traveling with you.
Yeah.
What else you need? You know, like we were like, we don't need anything else. We're just gonna rock it.
Exactly. And how was it when you began?
Well,
like as a tour manager,
can I tell you my first experience? You will be happy to listen to this.
All right, let's get it.
I will never forget that. So our first gig was in Cluj,
okay,
as far as I remember, and we went to this festival, or this gig. I don't remember exactly. It was a festival or gig, but we went there, and I was, of course, like not getting used to this traveling thing, so I didn't know when we have to leave the gig to make sure we need to be on time at the airport, blah blah blah. And it was like, she was like, when she finished playing, she was like, "Rob, we need to leave soon, right?" I was like, "Don't worry, it's all good." You know, meantime I was listening to Radu, like dancing, you know, hands up. You know how it goes.
Yeah, just going hella crazy. You know what I'm saying?
And of course, you know, I said, "Okay, we need to go." And she was like, "I think we are pretty late." Okay, I said, "No." So we arrived to the airport. Of course, we lost the flight. First gig, that was actually the only flight I ever lose with her. First one, and no more. Like, that was a nice experience. We arrived to the airport. They said, "I'm sorry, your gate is closed now." So we had to kind of wait for 12 hours at the airport, flying to Ibiza through Madrid for a night, staying one night in Madrid. It was a nightmare, but it was nice to experience that, to make sure, okay, I learned from this. We need to leave always earlier.
Did you have like an argument like when that happened?
She wasn't that bad, actually. She was like, "You know what? It's your first night. It's your first gig. It's fair enough." But in the end of the day, she was always taking the piss after that. Like,
but
we need to leave early, right?
I mean, it's kind of funny that you know, like actually, like your first night, you fuck up with the travel schedule, and and you look at it, so like as a tour manager, what were the things that you did? Obviously, like make charge that she gets on time to planes and that, but what are things that you need to do as a tour manager?
Well, people think that tour manager is an easy job, but it's not. I'm gonna start with that because it's the most amazing job in the world. Don't get me wrong, but there is a lot of work behind. So you basically need
temptation as well.
There is always temptation. Everything in life is about temptation. No, but basically you need to. You are not the logistic guy, but you are the person in charge of making sure everything is ready for when you arrive in town. Let's say hotel, you need to make sure that the check-in is ready, so you cannot, you don't need to, you can avoid a long queue sometimes. If you are going to one of those hotels that is really busy, you just need to make sure you send everything in advance, passport, sending some details about the rooms you wanted, because of course when you are traveling and you have when you are catching up like 3 or 4 hours of sleep, you need to make sure you are in the right position. So you basically need to avoid the lift area or the emergency areas. So these kind of things that no one think about it, but it's important. And also, of course, in terms of technician, you need to make sure all the equipment is ready. You make sure that, for example, we used to have this. When you're working with a DJ that most like the 80% that she plays is vinyl, you need to make sure the stage is ready for it. And playing vinyl sometimes it could be a pain in the ass.
Why?
Because it needs to be like digital is digital. Let's say okay, like you put a USB, and if the CDJ just go let's say it freeze, you just restart on, or then you switch with another one. You always has a backup chance, backup plan, let's say.
So you need to know how a booth works.
Yes, because there is a lot of frequency problems, there's a lot of feedback problems, and if this is not well adjusted, it will be a nightmare night, let's say.
All right, fair enough.
So yeah, when you arrive, sometimes you need to make sure first of all that the stage is independent from the DJ booth, because if everything's connected, your banners will never work, for example. And I remember in Bulgaria one time, 3 hours building down and building up again the stage because it didn't work. So 3 hours sound check. Sometimes. So, and of course now you also do sound checks, which is one of the most important things to make sure that the artist can just, let's say, deliver a good set. And, like riders, like tech riders and it's a lot behind, let's say.
There's a lot behind. All right. And like you learned this whilst you were doing it.
Yeah.
So like, did she give you like, I'm guessing she had a tour manager before.
She had, yeah.
So did she give you like, like sort of a class, sort of like a
of course. She's been always like even nowadays she's doing it. Like we are working with, I'm taking care of some bookings for her in Europe as well. I'm her sub-agent in South America. But
okay, cool.
We will go back to this in a minute.
Okay,
but of course, like we learn every day from each other, which is really good because we have like, we always say we are like a fake couple, but we don't have sex. Right? So we are like a no marriage, no sex. And
fair enough.
So of course, like we learned so much from each other, and she was the one just leading me a little bit. Okay, this is what you need to. She was actually, I think she made me be his customized tour manager, which is even better.
Yeah.
Because sometimes there's a lot of things that you don't really need it on tour. Personally, I think that. So she was basically saying, okay, I need this, I need that, I need this from you. Okay, great. So, and we managed to be together for 5 years, and yeah. That was pretty good, actually.
And it was a pretty good time.
And man, unforgettable.
And so all right, so you said you're tINI's sub-agent in South America, and you've been there a lot. Obviously, she's huge in there. We all love tINI. Definitely Peru loves tINI. So what do you think about the scene? Personally, I think it's grown hell a lot. Like in the past few years, like if you see what Gina does, what the guys from Ish do, what Bastian has been doing, and some other small parties. Like I think it has grown a lot, and I think people don't understand. Like most of the events we get are like open air, big ass events that you only get in the summer here, which is fucking insane. But yeah, how do you feel about that? Like the scene we have.
Like I said, for me, I think the first time I went to South America was with tINI, and of course coming from Europe, you expect something different, right? It was completely different. Like back then, it was like I didn't believe what. For example, if we're speaking about Peru and Lima, which is back then it was witching all the time. I was like, holy shit, man. Like, they just throw a party in the middle of nowhere, 3,000 people, and everyone is expecting for this artist to come around. So the energy out there, I would say, is something else. It's something beyond, like...
It's crazy.
Like, I never seen people... Because, like, in the end of the day, when you are in Europe, you have the chance to go, especially in London, for example, you have...
everywhere, every fucking music, whatever the fuck you want, every day of the week, literally.
Exactly. But in South America, sometimes you have one international artist a month, 2 maximum. Like, it's not the same, because travel overseas is not the same like travel 2 hours from London to Berlin, for example.
I mean, no, always not the same. I think that for South America, like, you definitely have international weekends, like, all the time. Not necessarily in Peru. Obviously, Argentina is a bigger market. Brazil is huge. The guys in Key Productions in Uruguay, shout out Key Producciones, they're doing a fucking good job taking this kind of deep tech. I don't like putting styles, but this kind of piff and fusey sound, which is amazing because it's something new to the region, obviously. But yeah, I mean, that's right. You don't have that many options, and you don't have that many many.
But don't get me
weekends.
wrong, this is such a nice thing because people really appreciate.
Exactly.
And this is what I mean. If you ask me for one big experience that I have in South America. In Cordoba, Argentina, with my friend Bumpy, which I send him a big hug because I love him too. And man, I remember we were flying from Buenos Aires to Cordoba. I never seen so much water coming from the sky all my life. Like it was pouring rain. I was like, it was an open air party, and I was like, okay, this is not gonna happen. And I was pretty tired. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna fucking chill because I was exhausted from the night before. Yeah. It was a long night. That's it.
Damn long nights.
And of course we arrived, and we were driving from the airport to the hotel, and we stopped in this traffic light, and I look at the car that it was just parked next to us, and it was half of the wheel floated. Like it was. I'd never seen so much water. Anyway.
Not even in London.
Not even in London.
Fucking hell.
Trust me, like when it rains out there, it rains. Like, shit. And of course, we arrived to the hotel, and the guy, Bumpy was like, "No, don't worry, we're gonna be fine." I was like, "You're serious?" I said, "Okay." So we were driving all the way back to the party after just drop everything at the hotel. And I promise you, I never had this feeling before. I saw people dancing on the middle of the rain. The club was full, 3,500 people. tINI and the gang in Cordoba, first time. I never, ever, ever seen something like this. Like. I was like, okay, I don't think this could have happened in Spain or in England or something. I mean, in England maybe because they are used to it, but not in
They
Spain.
crazy.
But not in Spain. But it was the energy of the people just dancing, and we arrived, and I remember tINI was just walking into the booth, and Olina was like, oh, I was like, wow, like seriously, best experience I ever have in my life.
And that's amazing. Did she meet Baudelaire that time?
Second, sorry?
Did she meet Baudelaire that time?
No, I think they have been friends for so long. Like they were.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, but actually Baudelaire, I think he was in that gig with Julian Perez as well.
Ooh, Julian Perez? Yes, sir.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, you know what's up.
So yeah, that was one of those. It's maybe nothing crazy, but just the fact that it was raining so hard and you have such a big club to fill, and when you arrive, you see everyone just getting wet under the rain, expecting the main DJ. It was something else, seriously. I mean, that's it.
It's like, like a hero's reception.
Yeah,
like when you get there.
It was like a real rockstar reception.
I think it's like sort of like with football as well. Like if you see football fans, especially in Argentina and Brazil, they go hella fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And I think like with the people as well. I love it, like when people start whistling like that. But like I can do it like this, but like when people start whistling like this, and if you go like, yeah, I don't know, like I think it's a different energy,
It is a different energy. This is something I also mentioned in one of those interviews that I still need to finish for Trommel.
Hi Trommel.
Hi Trommel. So yeah, I just but this thing I'm saying here is something that I've been writing also. Like it is the energy out there. I'm sorry, I don't like to compare because comparisons are not cool.
It's different. Like Europe is its own shit, America its own shit, Australia its own shit, South America its own shit. If you know what I'm saying, like it's just different. It's just special in like a different way. If you know what I mean.
I mean, for me, it's that special that I travel 3 times a year to South America.
Yeah. And
I've spent most of my winter in Europe in South America.
Oh yeah, for sure. Obviously, summer in Lima is lit. You've been there, of course. Yeah. La Huaca. Fucking sick party.
And Joya.
Yeah, Joya. But now La Mega though, which is
La
like
Mecca. I've never been there though.
Good. I mean, I actually saw tINI and Sonia. Craziest lineup.
We will make this happen again.
Oh, please.
We will.
You know, maybe you can throw in some Craig Richards in there in the mix. That would be
putting the cherry on top of the cake.
I don't think people understand Craig Richards. It's fucking insane.
He is one of those.
Like
musically, is one of those.
Like, you know, Craig, if you're looking at this, don't take us wrong, but he's a dude that looks like your math teacher that would pull up to the booth and he'll just rock the fuck out of the club for hours.
I agree on you.
Like, you just, it's imagine Angus Young from AC/DC, like, yeah, I don't know, bro. It's like, I mean, in the sense that, like, school, like, he looks like a school teacher, man, honestly. Like, the shirt.
His outfit always on point.
And then all of a sudden, he's just playing the vinyl. Oh, my God, it's just insane. Like, Craig is, like, it's insane. And I think it's someone that I appreciated more with COVID because I was used to seeing him play.
Hopefully, 1 month we will have the chance to listen to him again.
Hopefully, man. Hopefully. Ricky as well. That would be insane.
Let's see.
Ricky would be crazy. And, well, yeah. I mean, honestly, at this point, I just want to be surrounded by a lot of people that I don't know. I want to have someone playing music that I haven't listened to. And if I listen to a track that I know, it's insane. It's like this, like, good feeling. But I just want to fucking rave.
I think everyone is in the same
exactly
mode at the moment. But yeah, hopefully I'll be working for Fabric by then. So,
hey, Fabric, we love you. But yeah, I mean, so obviously you start tour managing, and you go to South America. What's the craziest place you've been?
In South America?
No, in the world. Yeah, that you were like, I wouldn't have ended here if it wasn't for this fucking job.
Japan.
How was it? I've never been.
Wow, this is another level. Like, it seems like you are in a different part of the. I mean, it seems like you are not in the same world that you normally used to live.
Yeah.
Like, it's insane. I never ever experienced that. Actually, it's pretty cool. Actually, like, once you go there and you go to the toilet, you will understand what I'm talking about.
I mean, I'm not even gonna ask about that shit, but I've given my toilet in Japan.
Technology is beyond out of control out there.
Fucking hell.
No, but it's a really nice experience. I never expect being in such a beautiful country. First of all, people is out of like I don't have any words to describe how honest, how polite, how nice, how welcome they are. And I remember we had like a tour, so we were just traveling around. We were between Tokyo, Nagoya, and Osaka. Mm-hmm. Seriously, the parties were still not big out there, except in Tokyo, because there is a big club called Boom, which I don't know if it's still happening or not.
Oh yeah, Boom, of course. Like I've been there, but I've seen on Instagram the videos and that it's crazy.
Yeah, it's insane, and the man it's a life experience. Yeah, and this is why I think this shop is become so special because. Like I said, we normally used to sleep more into rooms hotel than in our own apartments. And you get used to it, man. It's like it's addictive, and when you don't have it, like now, you struggle.
Oh yeah, of course.
I'm telling you, like for me, stop touring was one of the most difficult moments because I enjoy and I love traveling so much, and when you have to step aside, let's say, because you want to move forward with something else to make sure that you can go in another direction. Yeah, it was very difficult because, of course, like now I'm just trying to catch up with tINI again, traveling somewhere.
I mean, I think we just want to be free. Like
this is all we want.
Like all we want is like freedom to choose if we want to be at the crib or if we want to be at the club. And all right, so to end up with the tour management stuff, what's the craziest story you can tell me, like from tour management? That you can tell me.
Okay. Let's move forward to the next question, and I will try to remember because I need to pick up the good one.
All right, fair enough. So you also started doing events as well with her. And then you've also done them as for Logistics, which is your booking agency.
Exactly, it is.
Can you explain what's the role, or what is event management and event promotion and management?
You mean for the Zero Logistics?
No, like in general. Like what is it that you do as an event manager and as an event promoter?
Okay, it's pretty much the same jobs because what you're doing as an event manager is what you want to do for your own events, let's say, you know. And well, so it's difficult to put everything in a conversation because it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's like you need to first find a spot and make sure that you get a good deal. Book your artists, the ones you want them to play for you, and behind this is logistics, is flights, pickups, hotels, restaurants, I would say like production also that you need to put on your events, flyers, approvals from every single agent that the flyer is ready to go, promotion. Promotion team is a lot of things.
Yeah.
And but it's one of the most exciting jobs I ever done. Actually, not gonna lie.
Do you like it more than being a booking agent?
I love negotiations a lot.
Okay.
So I think both are. I wouldn't. If you tell me which one would you pick, I cannot pick both. I need to pick both of them.
Oh yeah.
Because
Like
I do enjoy my nightlife and my daylight too. My daytime, you know.
Yeah. I feel you.
But if you ask me to choose one of them and I have to be okay, you can only pick one, I would say event management is the best.
Okay, fair enough. But yeah, because
The thing is, like, sorry to disrupt.
No, yeah, for sure.
The most important thing is like I'm such a social person. I enjoy being such a host. Welcome my friends, welcome new people, explaining what it's all about, the concept that we are just trying to you know, like to bring it up in the event. And this is the only way you just can do it. It's just like being in your. Sometimes I'm spending a lot of times in the door of my events. So.
All right, so what up, people? It's the first time we're live, and you know, the bell rang like a couple times, so there might be like a little graphic, or it might be me talking right now. So it's all love. Sorry about this shit, but you know, that's what's up. That's what's up. So we keep it rolling. Let's keep it going. All right. So, I asked you what was the crazy story, like the crazy story tour managing, before we go back into events and all that. What is the crazy story that you can tell me about tour management?
Okay. Probably sounds like really basic, but for me it was because I'm a person that I need to sleep every day, otherwise I'm not able to function.
How many hours?
I sleep between 6-8 hours.
Not bad, but when you tour manage, can you sleep those hours?
Sometimes yes, sometimes no. And this was about one of those histories that I remember. We had like 4 gigs in a row.
Yeah.
I think was the longest week that we ever had. And I remember Tini saying, Rob, we need to start easy. This week is going to be hard. So we have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I agree with you. Let's make it properly, you know, because 4 days is a lot of days.
So no drinks with promoters, no after party.
No, the first night.
All right, so first night.
First night was
there.
Was in a festival in Germany, which I don't remember the name, but I remember it was on a Wednesday. And of course, I remember, I guess I remember I had a Coca-Cola online. That's it, because I really wanted to keep it healthy. And on the next day, we were traveling to this festival in Wales, Godput.
So you learned from the first day of the job?
Just from the first. And of course, we went to Godput on the next day, and I was traveling earlier than Tini because obviously when you are an event manager, you always need to go earlier to make sure everything is the way you wanted to, the way you requested. And when we arrived, it was good. We had a good time there. But of course, the night started really early, and we were like not sleeping so much. We ended up just being away for a few hours, catching up straight to the airport. And we were flying to Amsterdam on the next day, on Friday. And when we arrived, of course, like, I remember this weekend, the only sleeping time we had was on the flights. So it was like 2-3 hours flight maximum from Manchester to Amsterdam.
So yeah, like you don't sleep that much, just, you know, in an airplane, which is not the most comfortable airplanes when you're traveling in Europe.
Well, when you are traveling, airplanes are the best.
Really?
I have this easy thing that I sit down and I fall asleep. Literally, I just pass out. I don't know. I feel so relaxed. I don't know. It's because I've been in.
No, I feel you. Thing is, like, we got a little bit extra juice over here, so like the seats in European planes for me are like shit because I'm tall. Tall like this and tall like this. So the seats are, like, have you seen The Incredibles, Disney movie?
Yeah.
I'm like Mr. Incredible in the cars, driving like
Yeah,
this.
I feel you.
Yeah.
But for me, it's such a relaxing time that every time I sit down, I'm like. So anyway, going back to the history, and so yeah, we were flying from Wales, from Godbout to Amsterdam for the guys from BVX, and we arrived and we were like, okay, you seem like you didn't have so much sleep. I said, well, like the minimum, let's say.
Yeah.
And the good thing is that we were arriving really next to the party. At the same time that the party was about to start.
Yeah.
So we basically went into that party, and it was insane. We had like when you drink tequila, is the best thing. So it keeps you awake. And we were drinking a lot of tequila. I was really drunk at the end of the night, and the guys from there, they know how to party, and they were like, "No, you're not going to the hotel. You're going to the afters." So we went to the afters.
So fuck the plan.
Yeah, and we actually we left by the time we had to go to the airport again, and I was like, I can't believe it. We're going to Moscow, and we're gonna go without sleep. So thank God, from Amsterdam to Moscow is around 4 hours, direct flight. We arrived in Moscow, and I said, listen, I don't want to go to sleep because otherwise I'm gonna pass out. So
yeah,
let's go straight to the party. Let's get some tequila shots again. So we keep drinking tequila, and you know how it goes anyway.
You know how it is.
And we ended up just playing for this from the guys from the Volks, which they're good friends as well.
Mm-hmm.
We ended up again going to the after party.
To another after party.
Yeah, so it was like 4 days in a row, only sleeping when we had the chance to sleep in the airplane.
Yeah.
And the most crazy thing about that is that I never sent my body into such a long journey, like without sleeping that many hours.
Yeah.
So on the way back, when we finished the after party in Moscow, we just flew back to, Tini was flying back to Berlin, I was flying back to Madrid.
Yeah.
I remember the first thing I did, it was like thank God I had a window seat, and the first thing I said to the air hostess from the plane, I said, listen, I haven't slept for many days. I'm sorry, I'm gonna pass out, so don't worry, I don't need any food, because normally like 5 hours travel, 5 hour flight, they offer you some food and stuff. So the last thing I remember, it was just, I woke up in Madrid, someone like shaking my whole body like, yo, are you alright? Wake up! I was like, what the fuck is going on in here? Like, I thought, the girl was like, are you okay? I was like, yeah, I'm just tired. And she was like, I thought you were death. I was like, no, it cannot be like that, But yeah, it was pretty hardcore. It was a really intense 4 days shows. But the most you get, the most you travel, the most you like it. And it is, not everyone can do this job. I'm pretty sure of that. And for me, it was like, if you would ask me again, would you travel again? I would say yes, 100%.
And like, you already told me, like, the things that you do, the job and that. But on the personal side, what are things that, like you need, I don't know, like, being organized or like responsible or like strong-minded, I don't know, like how, what was your like traits that you need to have in your personality to be able to do this job?
Not only for this job, for every job.
Okay, fair enough.
I've been always really organized. I did many different jobs in my life. Like I was a barista, I was a waiter, I was a PR, I was like selling suits for Hugo Boss. Like the most important thing in this life, and this is my personal opinion, is just to do everything with love, man. Even I remember when I was doing coffees, and I was literally doing the best coffees of my district, and this is what makes me understand, like, no matter what, if it's a coffee, if it's a suit, if it's a gig, you always need to do the best of it. And if you get this philosophy or theory, let's say, I think you can achieve whatever you want. And I think this is why I'm where I am now. Of course, I've been helped. Tini was my mentor. She was the one, she gave me the chance to work in this music industry. But of course, there are a lot of things that you need to also develop as a person. Like
exactly.
And like I said, like you just need to be real. First of all, you don't need to forget from where you are coming from,
Yeah.
because many people, I think, sometimes forget that. And like I said, doing things with love and passion is what it will bring you. Like, I still do everything. Like, even if I do a party and I'm not making much money, still I'm making every event with the most love of it, because
Everybody's dancing in the end.
and like I said, when someone comes to you at the end of the party and he tells you, "Man, I have a fucking amazing time," it cannot be paid.
Yeah.
This satisfaction
Yeah.
is something else, like, and
Yeah.
this is why I keep doing things, and this is why I think that if you ask me what you need to have to do your job, just be yourself and do things with. I mean, you need to be, of course, responsible. You need to be aware that you have one job. So if you have one job, you need to make it good.
Yeah. Of course.
And yeah, that's I would say, like, but passion is. I mean, such a romantic person, passion person.
Yeah.
And for me, this is the most important thing. Yeah.
Yeah, but true. I think it's really wise words. And yeah, I mean, I haven't thrown like sort of a party, this, like that, business mode, like business wise.
Okay.
Like I've done, private parties for my friends, and yeah, like when someone tells you like, hey man, like I had a fucking good last night. It's crazy,
This is when you get goosebumps, like, and this is when you feel, man, like I said, these words can be paid. No, they are not even worth whatever money,
And I also think that traveling, you meet a lot of people.
Yes. You do.
And I do believe that relationships are the best currency, are like the most valuable currency in the world.
Like I said, I'm such a social person, and when I was traveling with tINI back in the days,
Yeah.
if I'm able to do what I'm doing in South America, which is such a tough job, because South America is another market,
Yeah.
It's tomorrow.
Yeah.
But still, I'm happy to, and I'm really proud of what I've done there, because I think I'm one of those persons that you can rely on terms of tours.
Yeah.
And this is why I think I've been growing up a lot. But yeah, like, it is like, I just completely lost what I was saying.
No. It's right. It's it's obviously big. Like when you do the party, especially like when you go from Europe and you start working in South America and all this shit. Like it's like you said, nothing. There's no money that can give you what relationships give you, and there's no money that can give you that feeling of like sort of like this rewarding feeling, that someone came to your event and was like, hey man, I'm so happy that I spent like my 20 pounds or whatever in this event.
It's not
Like
even-
I'm talking about the money, but I mean, like, I'm happy for this, if you know what I'm saying. Like, I had a good ass time. I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna remember this night. Like,
and they say, please keep doing this, and this is what it motivates you. Like,
Yeah.
it makes you feel, okay, I have to keep doing that.
exactly. And talking about South America and the world in general, you said you like negotiations.
Yeah.
And all that. What's the difference between when you're the negotiator as the booker for an event and when you're the negotiator as a booking agent?
Well, the good thing is that I think, as I'm both, because I'm a booker for my own booking
Exactly.
agency, and I'm
Yeah.
my own booker for my own events, is when, and don't get me wrong, I think this is the key of success, because when you're doing a booking and when this promoter and he's telling you, okay, I can offer you only this, and that he can only offer you that, is when you realize, okay, what is being into this role as a promoter, but also as a booker.
Yeah.
Then there is always something my philosophy is like about everyone needs to win. And sometimes as a booker, I think sometimes people forget what is that. Because sometimes they squeeze the lemon so much and without thinking.
Yeah.
And I'm a person that I like to invest in long term, like Bitcoin. So I'm like, I'd rather to have a promoter relation 10 years time,
Yeah.
and have this artist touring for 10 years for, let's make an example just to make sure that everyone understands. I'd rather to have this promoter booking my artist for £2,000 every year, for 10 years time, than having this promoter book my artist for 3 years for 5,000. Because in the end of the day, if you do the math, I'd rather to have someone in the long term than only for 3 years.
And because you can work with that person, with other artists.
Yeah, and probably people is just not happy to hear that because, but I'm not doing this because of the money. I mean, I need to make money to
of
live.
Course. You know, you need the bread. You need bread. That's what's up. But you do it because you like it.
Yeah, I do.
You know, like it's like we were talking last time at yours. I think it was you or Isaac that said, like, this is a job, but it's not a job at the same time.
It's not.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, you do things, and it is a job because, you're making a living out of it, but it's not a job at the same time.
It's not a job, and this is what I wanted to mention. One, I remember at the beginning when I started working in this music industry. I came back to Madrid from my nanny's house, and she was asking me, "What do you do now?" I said, "I'm doing this," and she was like, "No, don't tell me you are in bad things." I'm like, "No, trust me," because she couldn't understand that going traveling around with a DJ who she probably she didn't understand what a DJ was back then.
Yeah,
and
probably.
she doesn't understand anyway.
Okay.
So it was like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, don't tell me you are in dodgy things. I'm like, no, I'm not. So, like I said, it's a dream to make this kind of jobs. I mean, this kind of work for your life every day. Like, it's different than everything. You are not in an office. You are just traveling, or you are just hanging out with promoters and hanging out in parties, dancing, like interacting with people, which is something we are missing right now, and it's been missing for the last years actually as well.
This is why I kind of love what I'm doing right now, like podcasting wise. Like, you meet new people, such as I met, and then you're interacting, if you know what I'm saying. Like, I enjoy having nice conversations with people that work, they know about stuff that I really want to know. Because I definitely cannot wait for shit to reopen and be able to start working, whatever the fuck that is, like special events like that. Like, I just can't. Like, I can't. If there was something that I took from the conversation at your place last time, it was that I don't know shit. But at the same time, I think that for my age and where I'm at, I have a certain amount of knowledge. Still, I don't know shit. But I'm glad about that, because there's so much that I have to learn, or that I can learn, that's available there.
You learn every day, man.
And
I mean, I don't know how many events I probably have done. Every single event, you learn something new.
Exactly.
How is that possible? Like, I'm sometimes amazed by the fact that you learn everything. Even if you've done 300 events, you will always learn something. It's like, how is that possible? Like, no, I thought I knew everything, but I don't.
You don't. And like, I know it sounds like so corny and philosophical and all these bougie shit, but like, if like, I think you're good or not good, but I think it's really important for people to understand that even if you think you know, you don't know. Like, there's always something more to learn.
I know.
Like, you know what I'm saying? And so, from what you've learned, like, what are the 3 biggest lessons that you've taken whilst working in dance music?
Don't take things personal first.
Okay, fair enough.
Because it's such a thing sometimes. Like,
did it hit you good like the first time?
Yeah, it's something I would struggle at the beginning.
Yeah.
Because of course I'm a really perfectionist person, but when you work with someone which is even more perfectionist like you, then is when the trouble comes. And this thing is something I've been trying to fix, and I'm really happy on the position where I am. And 2 more things. For me, one of the most important things as well is just to remember from where you're coming from. So you need to treat everyone the same way. This is something I learned anyway when I was working in Hugo Boss. Like, doesn't matter who you sell suits for. Like, every single customer is the same person.
Yeah.
So you need to treat everyone as the same person. Doesn't matter if he comes from
respect.
Exactly.
It's all about respect.
Exactly.
Like, you might not like someone in that, but as long as you're respectful, you're good.
And
the 3rd one?
Don't forget to get fun, man.
Don't forget to have
when
fun.
the day you are doing, this is something, I'm in a position that I can say that because I've been always able to do what I love. And I know not everyone is able to do that, and I really respect it. But the day that you don't have fun is when you need to think about, there is something I need to change. Because I'm a person that auto-motivate myself from new things.
Yeah.
So the day that your life becomes like a loopy thing, like you are in this loop constantly, then it's something that is not correct. And I think I will just advise to everyone to, sometimes I would say personally, because I did this, sometimes you need to step aside, not back, because you never need to go back, but let's say aside to carry on your own journey. And this was I think the key of success for my life now so far.
And that's what's up. And we lit. You know, we've talked about your career. Now, I want to talk about the industry itself, you know. Obviously, I mean, there's so many branches in terms of styles. Like, for me, music is music, right? Like, styles, like, I might have, like, my tracks, you know, like, the ones that I've got downloaded, you know, organized or labeled differently than somebody else. But that's because that makes sense to me, if you know what I mean. So, but, you know, there's so many styles. Obviously, you know, there's the guys from Fuse that have done crazy shit in the past decade. And obviously, they were one of the most important labels, I think, from the 2010s.
Yeah.
But there's obviously another label that people know, that if you know, you know. And if you don't, now you know. Yoyaku.
Yeah.
They have been huge.
Yeah.
Like, huge this year. Where do you see them? Like, what do you think has been the key to their success? Like, and, you know, like, can you explain, like, a little bit more to us, like, you know, like, what Yoyaku is? Because I know, you're really familiar with them.
Well, I'm working with Yoyaku since the last 3 years. I've been their sub-agent in South America for most of 95% of the artists they have. And I'm working with my friend Tracy, really close, which is like my sister. And of course, I'm working with Benjamin as well, who is one of the owners. To be honest with you, I've been following up Yoyaku for the last 3 years, but I think the success from this is just they have really talented artists, and sometimes it's so difficult because don't get me wrong, there are talented artists all around the world, in Argentina, in Chile, everywhere, but not everyone had the chance to develop a project and make this successful. And I think when you have a good team behind, like Benjamin in this case, Bahat, which is one of the owners as well. When two smart people, they just team up together and they recruit the good team around you.
Yeah.
For me, the most important thing to be successful is just to have a great team behind.
To have a great team behind.
This is the key point.
Teamwork makes dream work.
Yeah. And I think they've been for the last 3 years, from where they were to where they are now, if I'm talking in terms of business in South America, man, I wish they could be like this for 10 more years, you know?
Like at least in Peru with Ish, you know, they've an amazing promoter. Shout out Ish.
Also, one of them, they play for China as well. La Meca last time.
La Meca for sure.
And
Samedi, Janeret, I think, as well. Herodot as well.
Exactly. Yeah. And it was great. Like, they just, I think they're defining this sound that it was needed. Because if you listen to it, it's really similar to, it could be really loopy, it could be really minimal, it could be really dubby, but at the same time, they have their own personality.
They have obviously it's a label, and there's similarities in the sounds and the releases, but I think that every release you have in there, it's its own animal.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
it is.
I bought the tickets for the All Stars party last year.
I know.
Went there.
End up seeing.
Such
a shame.
Yeah, Gerd Jansen and DJ Tennis. It was a nice gig they had. But I did go to the after party that still happened. Pouring rain, people still dancing. Fucking amazing.
This is how it should be.
Varhat, Arno, Generate. Those were the ones that I was able to listen to. It was crazy. It's one of these labels that has grown so much, and it's so well respected. As a booking agency and as a label,
I think you are one of the only ones that they're gonna know this before anyone. We are planning a new project together. So Yoyaku will be independent as a record label because it's been related to many things at the moment.
The distributor, the booking agency, the record store, everything.
And of course Tracy, which is I spoke about tINI before, but I need to speak about Tracy as well, as she's been there when I just decided to do my step aside. She was the ones helping me a lot.
Yeah.
And also if I'm where I am again today here, it's because of her as well. And of course of Benjamin. And we just decided after this pandemic, it's been a really hard time for everyone. And we just thought about, why we don't join forces? And now, like I said, Jojaku is gonna be like a record label,
Yeah.
but in terms of agency, we're gonna team up forces. So the artists that I'm working with in Europe,
Yeah.
they will also join this new agency, which is called
Okay, fair enough.
Interwave. We're also gonna work with Vanessa, which is a nice, good friend from Amsterdam. So he's
Okay.
taking care of the Benelux market.
Mm-hmm.
And what we're trying to do is just to develop our project. Like I'm in South America most of the time based, which is
Yeah.
a big market. Jojaku or call it as well. They are more on into France market.
Mhm.
I'm also living in London now, so we're gonna Benelux as well with Vanessa. It's gonna be like a nice team all around, and we're gonna be able to work in really good.
Kind of like make them have like more exposure, I guess,
Yes,
like worldwide.
exactly.
Oh, that's hella panging. Like, sorry, there's interesting years.
Yeah,
to come.
we are planning to announce the website in the whole announcement in like a week. So yeah, you know the first now.
Way, this is lit, man. We got the premise, yes, sir. That's what's up. Appreciate you for that.
Yeah.
And so like they've definitely sort of like redefined the sound, right? Like created their own sound. It's crazy because Daft Punk from France did that, like like in their own way. I think France is one of these countries that sometimes people like maybe don't give the importance
Mhm.
that it has, but like how important do you think France is, like
I
in
mean,
terms of
France-
dance music?
France is as important as another country. I don't really, like I said to you, I don't compare because I think comparison is not a good thing to say.
No, yeah, exactly.
And I think France, I mean, I've been in France during back in the days. I was in I was in a Concrete, which was one of the most amazing parties in Paris by far. I was in a boat, bomb sound system, bomb crowd, bomb promoters, and like when you just like, I mean, every country is different, of course, but France is as important as it could be Germany or UK or Spain. Like I just consider every single country is important for everything, like especially we are just living this moment that our music industry is struggling, even if we don't see that, but it's less promoters, it's less people going into party. It's a new generation, let's say, and for me, every single country is important because we need to keep spreading around what we're doing.
Yeah. It's I think it's dance music. I think social media has had an impact, and like now people more than for the music. I mean, in terms of the masses, right? Like they want a party that they can take a picture and upload it to social.
Yes,
And-
I agree.
And like, don't get me wrong, I like
No, it's completely like that.
like it's like that, and I think it's alright. Like like just I believe like especially like you're a promoter as well. I think that it's important to keep the essence of what dance music is about, and it's just getting there and like releasing energy at that place. And it's obviously a huge business now. Like it's grown a lot. Like it's worth more than it's worth billions. But like I think there's not a problem with it going mainstream. As long as there's not like this sort of huge commercialization or however the fuck you say that. I think we're good.
I mean, I just wanted to also mention something like, for me, when you're going into a festival, when you're going into a party and you experience, because it's all about experience. Life is about experience.
Exactly.
No, I word. And when you go into a party and then you have this moment with your friends that you just hug one of your friends and you tell him, "I love you, man."
Those are lit. Those are lit.
You know
if
what I
you
mean?
know, you know. Those are lit.
So these moments are like, you don't experience these kind of moments often, unless
Yeah.
you are like and it's when you are relaxed, when you are just having your crew next to you, when you're just having a drink, when you're just saying, okay, we've been having such a hard week, we have been working so hard, but we are here together dancing, and it's like, this is what is missing. And I think communication is missing in this new century, and I think we need to rework on that big time, because now when you're going to the new parties and you see like, and I'm gonna tell you, like, I hate to see people on the VIPs or people hanging out with the first thing. I mean, and I experienced that in my job. First thing they ask, I'm on the VIP list, so I need my band. Excuse me, what do you come here from? I mean, what do you come here? What's your mission to come to a club? To be on the VIP? I'm not gonna tell something, but anyway, you should go to the dance floor.
Yeah.
Stay there.
Oh yeah.
Sweat.
Yeah.
Being pumping to each other, like
Yeah.
being just
Yeah.
struggling, and then
Dude, like,
find a hard time to go to the toilet. But this is how it should be.
You know what I do? Cause I don't like when I find my spot. I find my fucking spot. I want to move a little bit, but if I find my spot, especially in like the size of festivals like La Huaca in Peru, like I'm gonna stay there for sure.
Yeah.
Every time my friend goes, I go like, "Yo, do you want a free drink? All right, are you going to the bar or the toilet? Yeah, bring me a water. I'll buy you some." And I just constantly stay there, and it's like I sort of go like a personal Deliveroo. Thank you to everyone who's done this shit.
That's it.
But especially in London, here's where I learned, like, VIP is cool to have.
No, London is different.
No, I know.
London is real.
Like, I know it's real, but what I learned was like, I don't like being in the VIP. Like, if it's backstage and that, amazing, because I can make contacts and I can network like that 100%. But when I'm gonna dance and I just want to lose myself, I want to be lost in the crowd on the dance floor, like,
listen,
like that, like where the action is. Like, I want to be there, that happened to me with Ricardo, 2019 Jan, when he was playing. It was just like, what the fuck have I been listening to, like, for this whole time? And I was just so happy, like teary but not crying, if you know what I mean, just out of happiness. And I was like, holy fuck.
I know.
Like,
I know what you're talking about.
I was like, that's what's up. Like, like that and something else in life. It was like, that, like, this is why I want to be in dance music, like I love this shit.
I mean, for me, I remember when I used to travel back then as a tour manager, there was only one party that I was like, okay, this weekend is for me. And it was at Soundwaves Festival, which is where everything start with tINI. And I was, you know what, if you want to find me, you know where the PA is, I'm right there. Pumping the music into my ear, like that. This is what I want to. I just want to dance. I just want to enjoy it. But for me, it's so important to have a nice crew around you too sometimes.
Oh, like, I love going with friends, but what I tell them is, like, I might disappear.
You might not talk too much.
I might not talk too much. I might just be fucking McChillin out in the crowd, just listening to music, digesting everything. Enjoy. And just, like, let me enjoy the music, like, let me be in tune with the music. And, I'll find you guys again, but let me be on my own, because, like, no shade on anyone, but I don't like to feel like I'm obliged to be with someone to party. Like, I just want to let loose and do my own shit. Like,
I know what it is.
And it's fucking amazing. And honestly, I think we cannot wait for this to open. Honestly, I was gassed about the party you guys were going to do at Starlane. Hopefully shit reactivates.
We will come back stronger than ever.
And we will come back stronger. For sure. Rob, it's been a fucking pleasure having you, man.
Thank you for having me. It's been a really big pleasure to be here with you as well.
Honestly, all fucking love. I think there's a lot of knowledge. People, honestly, like, we do this for you. But before the final message, you have the camera over there. Is there anything you want to tell to anyone or to the people, just in general? What's your final message to the world?
I just want to say that it's the first time I'm doing an interview without pressure. So thank you very much for having me.
That's what's up. Thank you very much, Rob. Honestly, people, what's poppin'. It's your boy RB. This is for you. It's for the culture, always. Don't forget to like, subscribe. We're going to do more content for you. I hope you enjoy the talks. And yeah, man, just drop the like button. Drop the subscribe. That's what's up. We love you. Rob, thank you. It's all love for you. I hope, everything goes north. And people, I'll see you next week. And don't forget, it's about the culture, rave culture. We out.
Don't lose the hope. COVID is going to finish soon.
COVID's going to finish soon. Take it easy, lads.